now, as though we're starting on the T side. So again, we get to see a really quick example of this. But let's flip the switch here very quickly. Team X are not slouches. We've been seeing them put up really competitive results, even though they haven't been able to close games. That's been their bigger issue thus far, but still, we're underway.
Yeah, I mean, even up to and including a 13-5 lead or something like that along those lines to nip. So, I mean, like you said, they've been competitive. Fast play by Astralis off the start of this one. Already 4 players through the short pipe. And then one waiting outside of Monster in the form of Device so he can try and push through inside the site. Meanwhile, though, it's Valde. And one other waiting toward Barrels. Rotations coming in from jungle as well. Valde's going to take the first shot. And Kerrigan, he's dropped the bomb on the way through. Look at this lineup as Snappy and Glaive get kills.
This is almost unfortunate as well. They had that molly that could have cleared out the barrels, and that's going to come out. That's so much money already for Team X coming through here. Clean as you like. They read that like a book. And you could argue this is what happens when you get those derbies coming down. The teams know each other very, very competently, so you can start reading into it, some more than others. Of course, Team X will come into this going, we know Astralis, but will Astralis sit there and really look at Team X to the same light? Probably not. But again, yeah, that was so unfortunate. If Kerrigan had maybe just put that molly rather than towards concrete, towards that CT side, put it just towards those barrels, that could have changed everything, pushed those guys out of position, and now we're kind of back into this round.
Interestingly as well, Glaive, you gotta wonder if he's taken anything away from Astralis that he can use to their advantage, given that he spent so much time with them at the major preparing. He didn't have a lot of preparation, but I think it was about a week and a half that they put into it with him. But either way, it's enough to get something in his head and locked down. As Dupree with Deagle looks out toward Long. We know Dupree and Deagle is a common duo that can be threatening. Him and Simple seems to be the most consistent at picking up Deagle kills in these situations. I guess Nico as well. I have to include Nico in that.
Already though, Team X is like 3 players postured towards this. Bear in mind, Snappy's the first contact, then you got Freeze behind, and if all that goes wrong, you still got Moddy, who likes to kind of jump spot by that by the truck down by Bank. So again, this is a really competent way to meet what they're doing. But Astralis, they only have the pistols, they have a little bit of armor to play with here as well, and Zipnik still has a flash. So anything they can achieve here is good, but it seems pretty unlikely so far, as already Team X falling all the way back, making them have to commit towards this.
Moddy with the UMP just jumping around to see what he can see. As far as the eye did see, out toward the tree, it is KRB with the Deagle. I can't keep it going.
With the Deagle.
Oh, I could have said over to you, Panzi. That would have worked.
That would have been sick.
That would have worked.
You just set the bar so high, I can only fail at that point as well. So you just nailed it.
Well, either way, they're still approaching onto this A site. Moddy and, well, it did have a teammate. Still does, I guess, back toward the back stairs. It's going to be Valda that's there with the M4, so Snappy. He'll set the crossfire on the way through, and then the M4 can start to pick them apart. Freeze rotating over early as well. Everyone here, they've got the read on it. Astralis low on HP. They've lost Dupree, and now Kerrigan again dropping bomb on the stairwell.
Yeah, it's just a really nice deep crossfire being held by Team X, not really allowing any, I guess, dangers to come around. Glaive's going to close it out, so yeah, really well played. Gives up nothing, and these have been extraordinarily clean from Team X so far. Their money's going to be pretty robust. Don't need to come back on anything. This should be free farm as well. Snappy and Moddy can just go hunting if they fancy it, because they know Astralis isn't going to bring anything particularly into this round.
Well, that's exactly it. They can't. They have to play the long game on this. Typically speaking, they're not reliant on the AWP on their T side. By the way, Astralis is German tonight. Just thought I'd point that out. We had a Dutch version of Na'Vi. We've got the German version of Astralis this evening, so we're becoming quite global indeed. But yeah, no, this is, I mean, they're not reliant on it, so they can afford to potentially go for force buy or bring out utility in certain situations where they don't have to save constantly for that weapon. But smart choice here because, look, you're really just asking for it then and lowering your economy so much earlier. If they can bring out the utility and bait that out of Team X in the third round when guns come up, then they can start to execute. But this time it's just going to be fast play as Kerrigan catches Freeze off inside the A site. And
there's no one there to initially trade with it either or be quick on the trigger. Moddy's finally pulled himself around, but he was not positioned for this, but the UMP should deal with this quite handily. Finally gets pressured down. He will fall to Device, but you know, this isn't the end of the world just yet, but it's still not as clean as they'd like it to be. Snappy finally comes into the action, leaving just Zipniks here, but he's actually got himself a really nice little bit of an angle. I don't think anyone's considering it just yet, but eventually they're going to have to, and there's the spot coming out. I think that's Device up there, or Glaive.
Yeah, there it is. Shadow position as well. That's another one of those spots, by the way, when you're at the top of that stairs. But the weapons
love shadows, though, don't you, man?
I hate
you
them.
really enjoy them.
I'm scared of my own shadow, Pansy.
But we do at least see finally that big buy coming out. We do actually see the AWP coming in very early for Kerrigan as well, going straight onto that. So that'd be quite fun.
It's kind of funny that I'm the one scared of my own shadow when your name's Pansy. Hey. But it is going to be the AWP coming out for
like
Kerrigan.
Flowers. So what other references are there to that now?
Not sure.
No.
But this is the interesting thing, because it is going to be Kerrigan on the AWP. So he's already down toward the lower tunnel. He wants to make sure no one's going to cut off any rotation potential from Astralis. Now they just have to clear out construction. dupreeh, crosshair placement, accurate, but a little bit late in his movement to get Glaive caught off. I think did spot his gun barrel coming through, so he'll go to a more secure position, setting up that same 1-2 punch they did with Valda last time from the barrels as well. So they're getting up Monster and trying to force commitment into the B site before the exchange. And last time that worked well in the pistol. They dominated on the entry kills. All 5 stayed alive in that situation. And here we go again. Already they have to get through the Monster tunnel. They can chase them down even if they distill them with utility, and it's perfect. Glaive gets 2 kills, but Valda gets 1 either way. They can shut it, but good trades. Unfortunately, still a man down on the Astralis side.
Yeah, huge impact coming out from Valda and Glaive, then just working off the back of each other. Snappy's found position as well. Device eventually has worked his way around. It's down to dupreeh and Device here, the last 2 standing. I'm not sure how much they can really build out of this. Device at least has the bomb, so he's got to step towards this one. He's going to go for the plant. 50 seconds now. Bomb's going to go down, pretty uncontested. I don't think there's much to stop them. It's more, can they escape the site and set up that after plant position here?
Freeze can't line up a shot either. Didn't go default inside the smoke, more over toward the pillar, but Snappy goes for the long rotation. dupreeh, he was the one watching that down. Device doesn't spot it up, doesn't anticipate it. You would have thought timing would have suggested it, but now he's still got this into a 1-on-2. And we know the sandbag's position is so powerful. Not only that, planted further in his direction, so less commitment to the peak, but that smoke, that's going to make it a difficult task as they start to wrap around and try and find exactly where he is. Freeze on it, crosshair placement, it's right, gets the first kill, but Monty fires back in. He now can't find the bomb himself, he's on it. Did he hear it? Did dupreeh hear it? I don't think he did. Monty tapped it away, but it did buy out the time because Monty had to get off it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure dupreeh had the line up there. When you put yourself right in the corner, and he gets away on 1 HP and with the AWP. That's quite a nice bit of silver lining for him. But again, though, Astralis having to fight pretty much tooth and nail to pull that one off. This game is actually going to be pretty competitive, at least, or so it looks so far. That was far from the cleanest of rounds I can imagine Astralis were looking for.
I can't believe he got away with 1 HP. Like, jumped straight. Just make it as far as possible. So like you say, they'll carry that over, give it to Freeze.
Yeah.
And he's going aggressive. We often see the turret-style AWP from him, but he wants to get in the face of Astralis based on the spawn that he had. AWP is already going to be pushed back, though, with a single flash coming out. Valda's again getting aggressive here early.
See, and I was a huge fan of this guy. When we watched his previous games, individually, he was probably one of the more outstanding players, at least from what we saw from the very early on. Again, this is super early, so you can't put too much on him, but he's been having so much impact in those kind of, like, not necessarily solo site positions, but we see those turrets infamously having those big games. You got to feel for Freeze, so going up for that, looking for that opening kind of shot there, seeing if anyone's pushing out towards that playground side. Device is notorious at doing that real slow lurk, just straight out, not really pushing it, you know, for the exchange or anything, just seeing if anyone eventually comes there. But Astralis eventually starting to build up here. You're seeing that rifling duo, that buddy system between Kiebi and coming up through with him is now dupreeh as well. Both going to face out, but actually receive a hell of a lot of damage. dupreeh down to 15. That's far from ideal. Trying to get a little bit of something back, but the nade's going to come out. Doesn't quite find the player they tagged before, so Kiebi will receive the brunt of that one.
Yeah, exactly. And dupreeh staying alive. I do like this early default from Team X. We saw Valda go toward construction now on 3 separate occasions early. So what they're doing is getting information as fast as possible, but they aren't overstaying their welcome and setting crossfires. They're going back inside the site instead. So they're kind of forcing Astralis' hand in that situation where they've got to either find picks to open up sites or execute. And so far, sure, last round, granted, it was a clutch situation. They haven't been able to do it. So Freeze, again, more passive approach. They do have one out toward bathrooms. It's Snappy alone this time, and it's traded. That was always going to happen. One and done, no one able to watch it down, and Freeze not in position with the AWP to get the trade, and there it is. And they go flash out, Zipix with the kill, follow it up, and it's Kerrigan with 1. And it goes down. Monty, he's the last alive, and it's 2 in a row for Astralis.
And if Astralis start to build up on this T side, that's where you start to worry as well for Team X, because it was their T side that lacked the depth to close out the games. Their CT side seemed pretty robust, at least to where you'd expect their standard to lay. So again, if they're going to start being bullied around a little here, getting really exploiting the way they're playing already, Freeze being caught out in such a bad position there too. Not exactly good signs to start out with, but still, we're going to see Kiebi trying to find what he can here. He's going to be on that Mac 10, to be hunting around, trying to build up some economy, get that bank building as best they can for something to fall back on. Gotta be careful though, it looks like there's already 3 players kind of looking towards this. No boost this time, however. There's a lot of bodies waiting on the other side of that molly.
Hack 10 positioned perfectly, and Glaive tries to get something rolling. No utility to allow him to do so. You can see they were considering the flash as they had the trade set up with the AK-47, Kerrigan on the way through. And it's all too easy so far for Astralis. Kirby's gonna build some bank as well. Why not?
No, I like that from Astralis, just going straight in. You know, not allowing for those crossfires to be really set up by the end with, you know, the P250s can still do damage. I think everyone's going to learn that for the last couple of games where teams aren't 100% switched on yet after that little bit of a break. There's a lot more of those kind of questionable rounds going backward and forward, so it's quite nice to see Astralis like, all right, let's just go in. They did it, you know, used to do it on Mirage a lot, just going ahead of the utility, but especially that time against a team who had nothing but pistols. It can be dangerous, but they just went for it. But still, a little bit of a different start this time as well, coming out from Astralis. 2 kind of going over. One with Device is the additional is Carrigan. He's going to be joining in. That's a sick shot from Xyp9x. That's the start you want. That's a huge opener here now. The CT side, they've committed quite heavily, pushed up by A as well. This is going to be tough for them to adjust to.
It's one of those ones where with your glaive, you're like, haven't seen them have it. Ah, shit. I saw him, guys, and he saw me. As they finally get the lineup onto glaive. He has been jumping that quite commonly in each round. It's just been milliseconds that it hasn't been spotted. So see if that plays a factor and whether or not he elects to do so further on. Meanwhile, Snappy. Crosshair placement lined up, but Device walks in and with an M4, still able to get off 2 shots, 1 dink on the head, and then the second to follow up in the body. Dupree, he's now got his crosshair firmly fixed upon the lovely garbage can, and there's going to be a slight gap there, but Dupree, does he find it? No, it's Kirby instead. So either way, good read from Astralis to cut that off.
Freeze can be a swing factor, though. They haven't checked up on Long, and he's doing exactly that. That's 2 back-to-back. That's made a difference. Now it's looking far more possible.
Indeed. Volda, he's done damage as well. Bomb goes down 46 seconds, but they've got to retrieve this, and in doing so, getting a kill on Volda now. Do they elect to go B? And I think they might, because Xyp9x is covering off this rotation. They know he's out toward the bathrooms. There's no need leaving it vulnerable to the AWP. Good read from Astralis. And they'll just sit and watch and freeze. He's going to have... He's even going to have the clue that's on it. He should know, because obviously he's looking for Dupree in that tunnel position, but this is a round over, I'm afraid. It's just going to take so much time for him to get over toward that site. No kit. I think he's just going to go toward long or the playground. Yeah, save the AWP. Completely
frozen out from the round now. He had like that really small window of massive opportunity, I guess. And he made a really good fight out of it, picking up the 2 kills there, kind of making Astralis work that a little bit harder. But still, even just keeping Xyp9x in that spot for so long, keeping that as always a possibility is again, quite impressive from Astralis. He was there as they were hitting the A site, constantly watching for someone coming up through those tunnels, looking for other ways to get back into it. So still, they're going to close this one out. Freeze probably will be able to keep this up, unless he's... Yeah, I don't know if Xyp9x is even going to get there in time, particularly. No, so yeah, Freeze will keep the AWP. They get the 2 rifles coming out. And, well, the sad thing here for Team X is their money. It's been kind of shot now. It's at, what, max 3.3 sitting around there, but it looks like they want to buy around the AWP a little bit, at least.
I mean, the good news is they've got 4 rounds against, so they can pretty much get a full loss bonus in the next round. If, by chance... Yeah, the thing is, Freeze is saving this up. If, by chance, they can deter a bomb plan from Astralis, get some guns down, potentially build back into it, but Freeze is going to have to find the opening pick to make that possible. So max loss bonus, we talk about the CT side. It's hard to get out utility and such even with it. So it's unlike the CT where you've got, or rather, excuse me, the terror side where you've got a few things that can justify money, but getting a bomb down even if you lose the round. There's not really any injections like that you can find. Volda does get 1 on Device, goes for the fast reload, but unfortunately it's CZ, so it's anything but fast. Madi, though, does get the trade on this. Too desperate for the gun.
It's like that kind of the honeypot effect. Everyone trying to get towards that gun that's on the floor, and they end up sacrificing themselves where they could have done maybe even more damage. But that's a good bit of work being achieved, even in that underpass area. Sending so many people towards it on the T side is pretty deadly. Those pistols can still operate pretty well. So Glaive's going to be sitting back here, hoping that he gets, he's probably going to get a 1 and done at absolute best, but it at least allows Freeze the chance to know where they're coming from. But at this point, Freeze is nowhere to be found.
Well, he's going to keep the op 1 more round. So at least that's carried over. Again, they're still playing with this bank account and building it up. Do you know where this map is? It's in Germany. Have you ever been there?
To this area? No.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't that look like the Cologne Tower, that circular tower in the background?
Oh, the radio one. There's one super similar. I don't know. Is this in Berlin? Is it meant to be Berlin? I'm pretty sure. There's maps around it. Wait. German producer in my ear said something.
It is Berlin. Ah, okay. Well, fair enough.
Oh, yo, that'll tell me.
Yeah,
that's really descriptive. Thanks, guys. You've nailed that one.
Yeah, let's go to Berlin and find out where this is.
Although, isn't it on Siegburger Straße? If you go up above where Freeze is right now after the round, I think
it gives you the street name,
yeah.
It's possible, but either way, Freeze still has this AWP, looking just to find exit kills at this point in time. He's not going to show himself until absolutely required. And they'll buy out into the next round. So 5-3 Astralis coming back after losing the pistol round in convincing fashion, has to be said as well. And Team X starting to trail off a little bit, all things considered. And they'll have a decent amount for utility as well in the next round. The question is, in fact, they could even go double up on Valde if they wanted to, but I highly doubt, and actually Glib, but I highly doubt they will on this map. I don't favor it on this map. You can anchor down either site, but it really puts pressure on you to find the counter picks on counter entries immediately on the CT side. So Freeze should be the only one and is the only one holding on to it. They'll have 2 kits out only based on the other utility. I wouldn't be surprised Glaive picks one up as well. There it is. Yeah. Well done, Glaive.
Good guy, Glaive.
Way to be a leader.
But yeah, now Team X, they need to get back into this because they haven't got a single gun round yet. That's the biggest problem at this point, is they're kind of struggling once it's come to this sort of depth that we're seeing Astralis bring. Freeze again actively looking for this. He doesn't normally excel, but he does get the tag. That's, I guess, the best he can ask for in that one. He needs to back away, though. There's a lot of other players there for Astralis ready to trade back that frag. Even
when he's going for that peak, he's passive-aggressive. He hasn't gone all the way to the position where you can see the stairwell yet, and he's trying to let them walk into his angle rather than him get there late and get taken down. So you can still see his play style showing through when he gets aggressive. He's just such a laid-back operator in that sense. Does get the tag, though, as you mentioned on Kerrigan. However, it is the AWP player on to Astralis, so it doesn't really matter his HP. It matters the accuracy.
All right, let's see what Astralis do now, because they're slowly gaining map control. Just piece by piece, they're working up long, getting players through underpass. They've still got Zipnix as well, just being forever anchored at B. This guy will always be a presence. Freeze has found Kerrigan, so that's eventually the AWP battle won out. Now, normally it's just Moddy jump peeking it, so you feel almost safe to a degree, but this time Freeze is locking it down. Not in a bad spot like he was before when he had the AWP previously got caught on the site. And I'm not sure, is that Kirby and Dupree boosting? No, they weren't. They were just right next to each other. I'm not sure if they were looking for maybe an angle there, but again, they're running out of utility themselves. They still have enough smokes they can set up a piece with, but it's starting to run down in time, and Astralis are playing this incredibly slowly.
Smokes out toward the back stairs, flash over. Potential entrance to come off that from long is Dupree, the closest one. He now has that smoke. There's only one angle to look at. They've got 2 smokes out, and Dupree doesn't get the crosshair placement right. It allows Snappy to find the kill, but he's traded by Device, and on the way through, that'll still favor. Oh, the tease is Freeze. He can't see through the flames, and that'll allow a little bit more advancement and bomb to go down on Truck. The nade coming through, it's going to do okay damage to Kirby, something to start this retake off with, and it's 1 kit left in play. However, Snappy dropped 1. Keep that in mind. So they can still grab that potentially as they try and recover this bomb. Just 2 remaining, make it 1.
Yeah, Kirby's doing the really nice work so far. He was the one who found Valda as well, who's going to be that threat from the back. But now Free's going to try and fight for this one as well. Gets caught off, tries to turn away to spot any other piece of the crossfire, but both were positioned on long. Device and Zipnix will survive and get themselves back securely, once again building themselves through this game. And you know, you look at Astralis' money, it's looking pretty nice. You've got Zipnix, very secure. Kerrigan looking to find Device as well with a lot to fall back on. And the disparity on the other side. Freeze, of course, has been doing fine. He's been able to keep the AWP a good couple of rounds, just kind of trying to avoid the rest. But beyond that, this is a struggle for Team X.
I was going to say, we're watching the kills, or rather the buy coming in on the overlay. I was going to say, why is Freeze not dropping pistols in this case? But he actually was. They were just really slow about it.
Just begrudgingly giving them out.
Yeah,
what are you going to do with them?
I'm really proud of my money. It's my best stat when you press tab. Either way, light smoke on Monster. No stack up off the start of this. 3 to pursue into the bathrooms for X, but they've fallen back. Finally, we get to call them Team X. Doesn't say XSK at the top anymore.
That is actually quite a saving grace. Mitch was losing his mind. He had this huge piece of notepaper just strewn out across the desk saying Team X, so he didn't mess it up.
Yeah, Australians don't have good memories, do they?
No.
They need all the help they can get.
I can't be mean to him. He's coming back at some point, but he has
he's not here now. He can get away with it. He'll never hear this.
That's true.
No one will tell him.
All right. As long as that's the case, I'll start laying into him. But Astralis now, again, slow approach, seeing if there's maybe a stack coming out, seeing if there's aggression. You know, what do they have up the sleeve for Team X here? They know that their buys can be far from ideal. So, again, it looks like Team X want to make them work for it as well. You know, come to the sites, let's see if we can use those 5.7s, P250s, CZs in a really ample range. But, you know, Astralis are not exactly opposed to playing slow. This has been a very, very patient play from them on their T side. It's been very slowly built. Generally has ended up on A, apart from the very few quick rounds that have ended up on B. There's been, seems a little bit far and in between at this point. So again, it looks like we will be seeing that A hit coming out eventually.
Dupree's trying to be the salesman. Bomb going to be flung forward by Kerrigan. It kind of gives away, doesn't it? I'll just throw it into vision, potentially, if anyone's watching down toward bathrooms. But the pistols are pushed far enough back now that they should be able to counter off these crossfires that are set. Having a little bit of trouble to start it off as Moddy does find 1 quick kill, but Kerrigan there immediately after on his P250, swapping away from the AWP. Able to put the bomb in place. Device has fallen, but the rest of his team shall rise, and it's going to be 7 straight rounds now. T side of overpass. We did mention for Astralis we would get an indication early on if they were up to the task this evening, because this is one of their best maps, specifically the T side. I will say in that case, I was arguing earlier that other maps were good. Their T side on this map in particular is very good.
Yeah, it's if you're Team X, you know you're coming into a situation where you are already not favored, and then this gets added on top. It is going to be a rough ride for them, and they just have to be able to kind of bound back throughout the next map, ideally, or even the next half. It's far from over. We've seen bigger turnarounds before. They just seem to not have any sort of grasp on how to approach Astralis here. We've seen them kind of losing out to the same sort of thing, that same slow build throughout the map, that same almost, not necessarily default, but it has been just this kind of very one-dimensional sounds negative, but it's not. It's just the same thing that works over and over, and why change it when it's working so well? We've seen so much working out for Astralis so far. It's actually been enjoyable to watch from that sort of perspective. Unless you're a Team X fan, then it's been horrific.
Yeah. It's definitely not been enjoyable.
No.
But if you're just a fan of the Danes, there's no losing for you.
Aww.
Freeze, again, passive hold at this aggressive position, and immediately falls away from it. He wants gifts, is all he wants. But again, I don't necessarily disagree with that mentality, because let's face it, if you can't find the fastest place, if you're not known for that playstyle, but at least you get early information, they can try and play off of this. They're going to play double out bathrooms this time. Instead, it's going to be Snappy that tries to support the AWP player up Freeze in bathrooms, and he has to fall away early. Having still not found any information in that position, it's Glaive now that's going to be the first under threat. Door's been open. He can see that from here. Flash comes through, and he's trying to just let them walk into his headshot angle, but the further he puts himself into that corner, the less anyone's going to be able to bail him out, and the less chance he'll have to escape, as well as 3 players potentially will be staring him down. First one walks in, doesn't even need to get that far, because Dupree, he's found the kill.
And this can change the whole dynamic as to how Astralis want to approach the round. Removing Glaive means that they just see that B site being so much more vulnerable, so much more ideal to push towards. Modi and Valda are just bracing themselves to impact, but Astralis haven't committed yet. They're still just seeing, is anyone going to try and go for aggressive plays elsewhere on the map? And they do. Freeze lingers out a little too long, and there's Device with the punish already, opening up another chance towards A. These guys are succeeding everywhere, even just individually. We're down to 35 seconds. The bomb is posturing like it's going towards B. Snappy's actually got around the back. That could be a small issue here that could come around and bite Astralis in the arse eventually. However, Valda and Modi still need to weather the storm as it's about to break.
It's pretty rude. They did that. What you mentioned. Valda, he's gone away from his position behind the barrels. Modi, he'll modify the head of Zipix as he takes it off cleanly with the M4, and Valda's going to come up a large in charge. Again, I have to say he's been impressive in the position in B. To be fair, he's done very well at holding that down. Finally, a chance for a round. In fact, it's guaranteed, because the time at 7 seconds, 2 kills to find. They were never going to give that up. And Valda reads where Device is coming from, but now the reset potential is a factor. 2 players stay alive, that's it. Fortunately, one of them carries an AWP over, and the benefiting factor in this is that Freeze is also in a great position economically to support and drop for his teammates, which he has now done.
Freezes the bank. But no, that was actually really well done. But then again, Astralis, when they actually went for that hit, then the smoke drop, everything was fine, but none of the players were flashing on, were pushed out of positions, and it was really easy for Modi just to create that perfect spot where to watch it. But it looks like Astralis want to maybe switch things up a little here, maybe go a little bit of a faster play. Karrigan was looking for those early opportunities down by Monster if anyone was going to commit towards crossing to that right side, but really, Glaive and Valda have been generally playing pretty much on the side itself, or by the barrels, or maybe a little further back towards water, and Modi just up above. So it looks like Astralis, again, want to find their opportunities here to begin with. And it's not a particularly bad idea. And here comes the boost to see if anyone's in it. Oh, Modi, you've got to be careful. Yeah, he doesn't hit the shot. He's missed it. He's not going to repeat that. Surely Modi wouldn't repeat that. He's just going to sit back a little more passive, knowing that may be an issue, maybe a threat on the cards. And they've actually lost out on a great deal of HP just kind of tendering towards that B site.
He's still waiting for this position that long. Nearly thought he was going to fall asleep on that one, but does react time to get Device down. And you're right, missing that shot of the boost. We saw that pay off just the other night. That's Modi. Has to cover off for his teammates. The interesting thing is he's playing it from the left side behind Truck. He can't quite see front bathrooms, but they make it back at the site regardless. And Freeze, this is the type of angle he's very good at. You talk about Cash at quad. He's a turret. He can play these tight positions and get the flick shots. It's this movement mechanics that's limited. And Zipix, he's going to take him down. So unfortunately, he's only good for 1 in that position, but we'll talk more about the reasoning for that in a second. As Snappy's picked up the AWP instead, falls back, but the deny from Modi. Bomb drop, 26 seconds for Astralis, and there's only 2 members left alive against the 4. And a very important round for Team X, because they have to avoid the reset, and I'd say they've done it now.
Yeah, they've done it and then some. Unless this gets far too costly, they should be able to just be really comfortable in this round. Again, though, that plant just right in the middle of the smoke was nowhere near covering that. It just allowed a very easy kill to come through to deny the plant in the end, but still, Karrigan here just going to be posting himself up, desperate to hold on to the AWP himself. And Team X need to keep hold of their guns too. As you said, that reset potential was definitely up there.
And mentioned about Freeze, the reason the movement mechanics for him are a bit limited, he's a carpenter and destroyed the ligaments of one of his fingers, apparently. I think there's a screw in there as well. I can't remember the whole story. But either way, he has basically plays on his keyboard hand with his, if I'm not mistaken, his ring finger is the one that's limited. So his pinky, his middle finger, which is my favorite finger to communicate with, the index, and the thumb. And basically that means he's limited for his strafe mechanics, which is actually quite important for an AWP player. But this time he's actually going to peek all the way to the stairs. Kerrigan reads it, and he'll regret doing that immediately.
That must be frustrating. He's been playing basically the opposite way of that the entire time. The one time he does maybe overstep a little, overpeak a little, he gets punished instantly. It looks like Astralis want to build off the back of this quite quickly too. Snappy's the only real denying factor who can at least stop this before it begins. Fast flashes come out. Glaive and Modi need to be careful. They're bracing for impact, but Device already finds another opportunity. That's Glaive gone. The response from Snappy never came through, and we're down to a huge advantage for Astralis.
Huge advantage indeed. Modi, though, 6 HP. He's going to try and make something of this with a flashbang out, but well avoided by Kierby. He gets to the corner. All he has to do is crouch, time, and fire away. He does the same on Volda and the young boy. The young blood, the teammate they brought in to really boost and invigorate Astralis after losing Cajun B. Well, he's showing his promise finally. 14 kills for him. He leads the way. 13 for Modi, mind you, on the opposite side, but in comparison to his teammates, he's almost double.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad Kierby's starting to have some big games. It's very easy to kind of forget that he came into this lineup and he was a huge swing factor, a huge impact player that came through, who could really step up to the plate. And you know, when he was not able to play at the major, everyone kind of just turned their eye to it. But now we get to see him back with this team, a huge chance for him to start really making that big name for himself that he's always meant to be able to do. So Team EXO switching things up a little here. We've got some presence in Underpass finally they really haven't been playing with so far.
It's true, actually. They haven't really gone down there because we saw Kerrigan try and take the AWP there early on, and no one really ever came that direction. So they've swapped that up. As Kierby will watch it. And Kerrigan, winning the last battle out toward Bathrooms, is going to find Freeze further back this time. So it's starting to be a confidence factor as he continues to clear out these angles. And that's all due to the fact that Freeze, interestingly, I don't know if I agree with that because they've already got 2 in the stairwell, as you mentioned. So him being front Bathrooms doesn't really serve any purpose because they can catch them on the cross. Instead, all he does is let Device do exactly this. Walk down long and into the site. Now, inevitably, sure, he would have had to confront Device. There's no guarantee he doesn't win that battle, but it just takes away so much more map control that Astralis wasn't gifted in that sense.
And Astralis is going to be asking questions. Where are they? Is this a B stack? Have they pushed up elsewhere? Because if Device has already cleared out this site, there's normally 2 other players who are already here supporting this sort of position. So Device is completely behind enemy lines. He gets full information. He wishes the shot. That's a bit of a problem. He had everything on a plate. But now where is everyone else? Dupree's bringing up the bomb. There is the unraveling of the plan. That was a little ace up the sleeve that Team X wanted to keep a little maybe quieter than that, but Kerrigan's ready for the punish. He gets it as well. Snappy goes down without a fight in the end. Zimnix holds the back lines. Glaive gets removed, making up for, well, Device's miss earlier. And, well, Valda not going to go down so easily.
It's a hard shot to hit, to be fair, with the AWP.
It's not nice.
Yeah, well, that'll get him out of there. How's your... Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was going to say, how's your barbecue? Because Devices was going to be tasty, but apparently not. Valda wins. Zipix won't allow him to go any further. Gun down, it's going to be 9-5. Round 14 done and dusted. Head on to the last of the first half with very little money left on the Team X side. So the aggressive play doesn't work out again. I still think the crossfire set toward long and just getting the information and covering off from the stairwell works better. Because even if they... Sure, they had Kierby down below. You still have to win that duel one-on-one, but at least you can get out this door and rotate back to A all the way the long way instead of just basically giving it up for free as they did.
I don't know what they're going to do now.
That didn't go the right way, Zipix. You didn't throw that to your teammate.
Not brilliant, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Glaive. Okay, this is finally a little bit different. Glaive now playing up on long. Again, of course, they're playing with not the ideal set. Device is not having a good time the last couple of rounds. He had that absolute sitter given to him on B. Didn't quite land that. And now this moment. Glaive will make it out. He's got himself a rifle, which is always delightful. So that's a nice bit of maybe a little weight to bring to this round that they desperately needed. Otherwise, we're down to pistols and UMPs here.
And smart to use that smoke as well. We saw them have to go with smokes. They couldn't really afford anything else, so they went with the utility. He uses it to get the gun. Significant upgrade in this sense, and unfortunately for him, though, he's a long way from the action over at B. Zipix comes in time to catch Volda, trying to flash himself back toward Monster. Modi pushed back, but he's going to try and utilize this smoke that's been deployed to his advantage. That doesn't really work. If Kierby fires through it and finds him, Freeze walks in. Gets 1 kill at least. Nearly gets the headshot onto his second, but Kierby and Kerrigan will close it down 10-5 for Astralis at the end of the first half.
Yeah, and considering Team X had that buffer of those first 3 rounds as well, when they're winning the pistol, looking pretty good, looking pretty competent, to walk away with only very few more off the back of that is going to be pretty disappointing. And let's look at the other games as well from Team X. They struggle on their T sides for depth, and this could be another big factor here.
Which, yeah, this seems to be one of the things that if you go back in the Danish scene in general, it was always T sides were the problem, and Fetish and Glaive were the two guys that kind of set the foundation there. So you have to wonder if that's just an issue that continues to be in place for him. Kerrigan was the one that broke that mold, but we will go to break and see if they can finally pull it off, like you say, swapping things over onto CT. We'll be right back. Do you know what the best part about them giving me a PC to cast off of is?
What's that?
I can deathmatch during our intermissions.
Do you know what the worst part about that is?
Yeah, this mouse doesn't let me turn.
No, it's I have to watch you playing deathmatch.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
absolutely horrific.
Hey, I'm 2-0 right now, all right? Bot Eric just got wrecked. But welcome back, because speaking of getting wrecked, Team X have been struggling. It's 10-5 at halftime. And it was the CT side as well that Team X started out on up overpass. So is the writing on the wall. They did win the first pistol. That's their saving grace.
That is true. And I think there's a lot to be seen from Team X. I realize some of their set pieces that we saw throughout the previous other maps, that they really do seem to be putting in that kind of like hard grind, or, you know, you see, I don't know what it is with like some Danish teams, you see it like quite often that they have these really nice like set pieces that come into play. But again, it was when that got stopped by better teams, let's say on paper, they didn't seem to have anywhere to go after that. They didn't have that kind of like nice adaptable default. It was always a little bit one-dimensional. So I'm hoping we get to see maybe more from this now. But if the first half is anything to go by, this is going to be a bit of a blowout here.
Yeah, and that's a huge problem. You know what else is cool? That I've this whole time not died. I just stood in the corner. No one found me. I should probably disconnect. Get ready, though, because we are getting into the second half. Talking about the pistol buy, well, 4 sets of armor, 5 now. Zipix decides to join in. He wants to be the follower, not the leader. He's not an individual. He wants to be just like everyone else and will buy all armor. But so too, I guess it's a Danish thing, because Team X does the exact same thing. Yeah,
I was saying how they're like some really nice set pieces. They all just go for the Glock train, and then pretty much the same thing on the other side. And the Glock train is following you know, each other around. And this was. I'm hoping we see this. They kind of just go around the whole map making noise, and I think Astralis know this, because look how clustered up they are as well. So they're going to run down long. I wouldn't be surprised if they go through toilets, through underpass, and go B. I'd love to see that, and I hope we do, because that was what they did before, and it's going to make Kerrigan sweat here. He's got players left, right, and center. He's going to make a dash out of the toilets, but Moddy's already caught one in the heels.
Kerrigan trying desperately to find the kill. Goes in and might as well just pull out the knife at that point. He needs the bayonet knife from World War II. Just stab him with it as he's still shooting. But Volda getting a kill on device is going to allow the bomb plant for Team X. And not only that, the man advantage. It could be a double pistol victory in this game. But at this point, it's not the double pistol that would give them the advantage, as you might expect. It's one to save them. That's how poor things went after guns were drawn for Astralis. Great shot for Zipix on the entry. And Snappy already gone low on HP. He's going to be found by Zipix as he wraps around using the distraction that is Kierby. 3 kills now for Zip. As it is, Glaive trying to find the shot. He's got it lined up, bomb down, that's the advantage. 2 headshots for him, and it will be another pistol for Team X.
That was manic. Let's be really honest. Once they got to toilets, I think it was Dupree and Carrigan had that first contact. It was the most manic round I've seen in a while. Just kind of like the Glocks powering straight through, and the USPS is kind of out of spot there as well. But still, Team X get that silver lining. They get that chance to pull themselves through this game a little further now. And looking at the Astralis side, they're not going back in on that full, massive purchase, of course. They're going to go for a little bit of a Mag 7 here, a couple of Deagles. So enough to work with, but, not quite as much as I'd maybe expect from them. But yeah, looking at the other side, you've got the UMPs coming out to play the Mag 10, so they're looking to farm this one up as much as they can.
Muddy. Mac 10. What's he got on there? Oh, I missed it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rush. What's he got? Kingwin sticker,
Dennis?
Cologne 2015 sticker, and a Dennis sticker. You're right. Souvenir, obviously.
It
Mac
looks
10.
so delightful. They really put the souvenirs, skins, the highest of quality.
Here's something to remember the event by. You'll probably want to throw it in the garbage. It's so ugly.
Yeah. Speaking of Muddy, though, he's actually been impressing me recently again, though. We've seen him a lot on, like, Mirage, where I feel like he highlights some of the best roles he plays, especially, like, playing through Palace, playing on the A site. He's really coming into his own as that nice game sense player. He just reads the feel of it really, really well. But coming away from him, he's going to have absolutely no impact here, at least until the next couple of minutes, if he can find something to do. As already Astralis is just kind of wandering around, wondering where the next threat's going to come from, trying to stack out the site, I guess, trying to play together as much as they can with their limited weaponry.
Well, they've cleared out bathrooms to an extent. They've got the front of it down. There's still one player they've yet to find. It's going to be the one that could be the problem as well on this 4-spot shotgun. And he's the timing off. The lineup was there, but Glaive catches him with the UMP, and down goes Zipex, the man who got 3 kills, built up the bank to buy that gun, could justify it. Well, he's done nothing in this round to deter the entrance from Team X. And Kerrigan smoke out in front of him. He just has to sit back and allow the round to end. Again, we talk about this second round for CT side. It doesn't seem like you're saving a lot, but you cannot buy a single thing on the third if you want any utility at all on the fourth. So run away and at least keep what you can.
And that's pretty much all they're going to go with. Glaive's probably the closest one to be able to find them, but he's still not particularly close either. So unless he goes through ladder, he might do. I think Device is watching that from the other side, but go on, Glaive. How close can you get with that UMP?
Did somebody in chat just say, wait, Astralis, where's TSM? I'm gonna flip that question around and say, where is you? Where have you been?
For how long as well? Like, how long have you been in that cave? Poor people.
And to be fair, actually, I can't ask that question. I was gonna ask if there's something specific in that cave. If there's any alcohol, I come visit, but
no.
Twitch doesn't allow me to talk about alcohol on stream.
You don't drink, though, so.
It's true, actually, I don't anymore.
You've been actually really well behaved since you've come over to Cologne.
Good.
It's unnerving.
Still haven't found a razor blade, but that's okay.
It's the Gamescom look you've got.
Not talking about suicide, by the way.
Yeah,
we're talking about my terrible facial hair. No one read into this.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, again, Astralis just going to weather the storm in this round. They managed to at least keep one player with a bit of armor, which was Kiebi, and that Deagle on him as well. And the other's a Deagle's an upgraded pistol. So it's the best they're going to get in this round anyway, unless they want to do some stupid buy, which has absolutely no reason to do so. But that does mean those UMPs are still out to play, still have that possibility of making pretty decent money out of the back of this.
Snappy and Glaive starting to clear out bathrooms. Molotov off to Dupree. He'll be forced back further. Deagle in hand still for him. Team X have a chance to bring this to 10-8, getting the 3 ensuing rounds. He falls away. Dupree spots one crossing over, but still can't get the lineup. It's Kerrigan that he's trying to support in this. Kerrigan's just going to get taken down as they walk around the corner. Just 2 guys standing, him firing into him, and Glaive. He'll pick up Device immediately after. It was a little bit low for his troubles, but 2 kills. All right, fair enough. 2 on the SMG. Why not? All right.
Dupree, Zipnix, Kiebi, do something against this. Find one shot. Just make... Zipnix, he's got the P2K. I believe that he can do this. Glaive's, vulnerable. Has seriously no one checked that? Okay, Dupree's found Velda. They must have seen him light. How is he getting these kills with... Okay, it was Dupree to find that kill and Zipnix to support that. It's got a little bit more dangerous. Dupree's still standing as well. Kiebi was the one with the armor too. So again, there's far more damage to be possibly found here. Glaive's still low. And he's basically 1 hit and he's done for. The rest, that becomes another issue.
Oh, Kirby. I thought he was at least going to get that one shot. Look at how low they've all gone. He's making it doable, but the problem is the time is not favorable. The kit is lacking, and, well, the damage seemingly coming up slightly short. So it'll be another round. Team X, they'll make it 8. But Astralis still sitting on a full 10 out of 10. The smoke show. Actually, the bombshell, as Henry G would say. The 9 out of 10 would be the smoke show.
That be it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Gabby, gonna keep the armor, keep the deagle. Deagle's not quite so relevant, but the armor is. So that'll be kept over. Modi can upgrade, that's no problem. But 2 of them staying alive is actually quite impressive considering how low HP they were. But Modi seems to have a bit of a gift for this. He managed to perform 1 HP, so, you know, he is a wizard. And beyond that, we finally get that buy coming out. That's what I want to be seeing is now how well do Team X keep up. They've at least brought that scoreline back and looking, you know, a little bit more competitive, a little bit more even. And Karrigan picking up the up as well here. Now, Device had a really nice spawn for possibly that peek down towards Monster. These kind of famed for. Not going to take it. Karrigan going to put this one up by long. Going to just position himself up nice and quickly. And Team X going to try and get that opening kind of gambit play coming out. Has anyone pushed up towards Party? Has anyone gone any further here? What's going on? You know, look around, see what they can find. Is there anything out of the ordinary, basically, at this point? So far, not the case. No one's really done too much beyond the regular here. Looking at it, though, we do Dupree and Karrigan pretty much being the duo to hold on towards A at the moment. Kievi kind of floating around the back as well. And Glaive's going to get a lot of room to play with and hopefully needs to kind of draw himself in. He needs to know that there will be some sort of presence elsewhere.
Kirby with the flash, getting ready to support Dupree, and in this case, Karrigan also out with the AWP for the fast shot. Put himself far to the left, though. You'd expect him to go back to truck if he can't find this, but they want to get aggressive. They want to find as much as they can, probing in the wings for Team X, who threw this wall. Zipix actually gets 2. We didn't see the second one. Okay, I was going to say the first one, Valda overextends it, and Zipix, he's able to pick up Modi in that as well, and he may find it 3rd. Oh, Zipix has 3 kills through a wall on overpass. I love it. Bring back wall banging, please, Gaben. But giveaway, don't bring back coaches, just wall banging, and I'll be happy.
You can't get it all, but that was absolutely sick stuff from Zipnix. Now going back in, he oversteps. There wasn't a wall in between you there, Zipnix. That was the problem. You know better than that. Now it's down to Snappy and Freeze to pull this one back together, but Device, I love this little spot where you can surf up to the corner. Generally gives you the first shot, and it does indeed give him just that. That's the bomb now down. Snappy left in a 1v4. Bomb's in a really bad spot. This is near on impossible. And it is indeed. Sealed the deal by Device in the end, and that'll be Astralis again. Picking up where they seem to leave off in that first half. Don't worry about the pistol, we'll just get all the gun rounds.
That's actually pretty retarded. Wall is the problem. That's pretty insane. As he just gets 2 kills through the wall. But it's now 11 for Astralis. And Karrigan goes back to the AWP. 5 AKs coming out for Team X as they keep the residual cash from the previous wins, and it's Karrigan going aggressive with the AWP as well, down towards short. Gun barrel. Oh, he anticipates it. He'll keep running, but now the molly comes out. Modi's actually got it in behind him, and Karrigan gives himself away. They can start to pursue, but Valda, he may burn alive himself. He's trying to get... It doesn't reach him? Wow.
It's not spread.
That's impressive. There must be like an inch he could stand on in there.
That inch can make a big difference there, Matt. 5v4, Device, Kiebi, Zipnix, and Dupree looking for other opportunities to get back through to this one. This is dangerous to peek against this Kiebi. Surely Zipnix is the one who knows how much damage can be done through these kind of wooden panels. You don't want to overextend to this when you know they're playing towards short, towards water. Team X are really heavily postured towards this. They have pretty much every single player on this sort of spot. Freeze further back, waiting for that flank in case it comes out. But now, let's see what we've got. Kiebi, Zipnix, waiting patiently. Device and Dupree still not sure where to go on this one. They haven't got the full piece of the picture really just yet.
Valda waiting. Let me see if the door is going to open. If anyone pushes down to try and pinch them in at the construction position because they don't have anyone watching the underpass. Everyone committed over to the B side of the map. Oh, Zipix. I love it. Just sneaky. Just surf right up.
Oh, this is gonna be so nice as well.
That's so sick. But that would have been almost as good as his 3 wall bang with that mechanics, but doesn't happen to be the case. And now the spam comes through and the smoke's out. They should get a bomb plant easily out of this, but how much can Astralis afford to go for this? They've only won 1 round. They're going to get reset. I think they're just going to get out early.
I really wouldn't blame him either. Look at Dupree's already off. He was off about a minute ago. At least making it costly is going to be great, but yeah, that could have gone so differently if that one flash had gone that one way. And the things when you're in those sort of spots as well, the moment you turn away from the angle you're watching or to like an extreme angle to do those pop flashes, you come down the wall as well. So you have to kind of be very careful how you do it if you actually want to work off the back of it. The time was just off for like a tiniest second. But still, Astralis look like they might be able to get away with these weapons, looking at where the guys from Team X are. Glaive's the closest one who could maybe chase some of these down, that being Dupree and Kievi, but they're pretty well set up as well. They're tucked in pretty deep down by A-Long. And, well, so far for Team X, this is good. This is the start you need for them to build themselves back up into this. They need to prove to themselves that we can win these gun rounds, that we're not just, you know, that one-trick pony. We can still do this pretty well. We can make this count. That's exactly what they've done. A nice clean round as well. Keep that money building up in the background. Sitting around 3K at the moment, but you know, they get to keep that utility as well. They get to, you know, keep the rifles, of course. And beyond that, on the other side, Astralis going to rebuild this buy. They're down to a very limited amount, so the deep smoke towards Monster going to be put down. That could indicate we're going to get someone peeking off the back of it. I wonder if someone's going to try and get some early information, maybe somewhere, play around that. But it just means that Kiebi's going to be safe to be able to sit himself up by those barrels and just chill out.
Audi going to rotate back away, not going to anchor for the lurk this time. This is, yeah, like you said, just chill. Look how chill they are. Just doing nothing right now. Such a passive positioning, even for this default from the T side. Clearing out underpass first, and perhaps they'll build off that if they can pick up any information and pick up a pick, but no one watching out toward bathrooms. Just starting to clear that now is Snappy. And Volder's going to come up and join him, so they'll cross and clear. But Long, well, Kerrigan's gone passive on his own doing, so now they can start to work onto the A site. And Maudie is going to wait just for any rotations late. He checks all possibilities. Corner as well. Free's going to come back over for them and potentially flash around. Kerrigan's putting this AWP in a different position again. He wants to play this tight angle on bathrooms. The problem is that he can't fire down the long corridor, so they have to cover it off with utility and or a rifle crossfire set. So if they have to deploy any more smokes out, they've only got 2 left on this CT side, and there's still 43 seconds left to cover off the map. So you're going to get this down to around 25 seconds before the execution's going to come in. Wall down. It's Maudie gets hit to 17. Not a full kill. Dupree blinded up as well. Nearly caught vulnerable in that, and there it is. Voldo walks in from long and catches them both off. That's the lack of the AWP on that side. I'm still not agreeing with Kerrigan's positioning in that sense, because it just leaves so much open as Astralis finally with device is going to catch Voldo back, but is it too little too late as the bomb's been planted? This could go to 11-10. We are seeing another second half comeback, and it is the T side as well. It's not done just yet. Let's not rule this round out, but, well, never mind. Astralis seems to think otherwise, and they're going to get away and save once more.
Really, every time I watch Team X, I don't think they can close the games, if I'm honest, yet. I haven't seen them do it, but I constantly get impressed with sometimes how they pull off these T-side approaches, and Modi already finding out where device was, removing these guns away so quickly. They do not let these guys keep that economy just about on the cusp of being relevant. That's the biggest issue now. Xyp9x goes in for the flash again, and actually didn't flash Glaive. He flashed the man behind him that was Modi, but in the end, Kiev will at least try and stay alive here, staving off the wolves at the door, and he should be able to do just that. So he'll at least keep the M4, but everyone else is down to what, 3.4 is the max that anyone else from Astralis has. Beyond that, it is very limited. So maybe upgrade those pistols, and that's about it. But on the other side, you're starting to see things looking far better. You've got that 5.7 sitting on Modi, 5.2 on Glaive. They're starting to look way more robust here. So this is where they can even up that score, hopefully, and then start building their own sort of way back into this.
Yeah, absolutely. So 10-11. Still in favor of Astralis, but 10-5 at half. You have to say this is pretty good from Team X so far. We might see another 11-11. You do know how that works, right? Henry knows how it works.
Is it something to do with making a wish?
Yes, you have to make a wish. You're supposed to touch something red as well, just to give you all the proper rules.
Thank you.
My wishes never come true.
Oh, maybe wish for something different.
Yeah.
Is it always the same thing you go for?
Yeah.
Does Henry know?
Well, it involves Henry. I just wish you would never cast for me again, but you know, I have to put up with him. Kerry takes down Glaive, but he's... Interesting. Okay, so Volda has to wait. That actually is a really interesting play. I would have expected Volda to just risk it, go through the smoke, or rather, excuse me, through the Molotov and just get the kill while he's falling back and potentially reloading. Instead, he waits it out. He gives Kerrigan a chance to reset his aim and thinks that he's going to pick up a kill for free. That's taking the situation for granted. So no trade coming through. Fortunately, they did pull it back, but Kerrigan gets 2 kills that he otherwise should not have had in that situation. Madi gets Xyp9x back, and they'll make up for the lost ground and should still put this game onto a tie. But Device watching one door and above in the bathrooms, Dupree watching the other. Chance, maybe.
It's slim, but it could work. Modi, if you're not going to get the flash through there, you could actually be in trouble, and that's going to give the chance. There it was, there it goes. Now down to Dupree, it's looking a little less likely. He's still not sure where they all are. He's only really seen one at this point, and that's Modi, who's in this position now. There's a lot of guns available down here, and he cannot get a hand towards one. That is done. That is dusted. That's Modi taking control of that round. It started to look a little bit more worrying than it should have been. As you said, there's maybe some questionable choices how they approached getting that gun away from underpass, but still, that all aside, we're 11-11. The point being, wishes aside, Team X have been having their way with it so far, and a consistent matter that we often see with these guys is the distinct lacking ability to close out. This is where they need to make that difference happen, and how devastating would it be if this again becomes the issue, as we'd like to see Rush's binds there on the screen. But Karrigan going for the white peek out by Party, gonna back away from that, and Team X gonna take control through underpass. Freeze playing that passive play up, maybe looking if anyone's gonna push long, and just maybe expecting to see if Astralis are willing to go some CT aggression here.
Well, Device is going to be trying to probe for something at the short pipe right now, and Zipix will go with him. It'll go through. It's Dupree. He's going to push right through this, but Karrigan's already got the kill on Evolve, and now he'll fall back. That's actually quite smart. So gets through it, immediately realizes the kill's been grabbed, and changes his position back to cover off for Glaive. As that dissolves, does Glaive get caught running? Because Dupree can easily hear him, but he has to figure out where the player at long is gone if he's going to get wrapped back around that. Instead, it's Freeze. Dupree could actually be a huge problem in that. I don't know why he's rotating toward lower. He already has the information. Two players have walked over toward long.
And the fact is that, in theory, Astralis could have had a player there the whole time. So he kind of removed that element of surprise that he had up his sleeve for a little bit of that kind of awkward positioning. But that aside, we've now got the 3 players going down long. They've got to know where this is now. Everyone from Astralis already coming over here. This should not work for Team X.
I mean, Dupree, to be fair, did get the 1 kill on Madi, so he gets the information. Karrigan can wait and hold it, but if by chance he'd gone down, or if they had found an opening pick on this A site, it would have been a retake, which could have given a potential to Team X, but they've handled the situation well. Freeze will fall back with AWP. Does get 1 kill, but that's far too quick for him to reset his aim and find another, as Zipix is immediately thereafter. So they continue to hold the lead, but just by 1 round. What did you wish for on 11-11?
I can't tell you, otherwise it won't come true.
That's true, you're right.
Come on,
I know
don't try and ruin my hopes and dreams and wishes. It's just cruelty. But all right, Team X, this is where that mental game kicks in. You know, everyone for some reason associates the Danes with, you know, having I guess those performance issues, the closing out, the choking, but let's see if they can rebound from this, because they're not all Danes. You know, there's a little bit of a mixture. Valda there, going to be working his way through, see if anyone's going to be just taking that jump peek. It looks like a faster play towards B, but Device and Zipnix are already ready and waiting, putting their utility down quite early on just to thwart any fast play coming through from Team X. So they're going to have to slow down, and we know what happens here. Zipnix likes to play with those walls, and they work pretty well in his favor, if I'm completely honest. But at the end of the day, he's got to be careful here. Doesn't want to show too much, don't want to, you know, make it an easy position for them to bang back. So at the end of the day, Team X, it's all about timing now. They're still at smoke on monsters. They have to wait for that to dissipate. Then they could make the play if they still want to. They've got so many mollies they can put into action too, just to clear out those corners if required. This can still be a deadly hit.
Device this time out toward the monster. We've seen Zipix there. We've seen Device there. We've seen Astralis win multiple duels here. Can they do it again? I'm going to go into Inquisitive Caster, where I ask questions. But who will give
hopefully
me the
they're
answer?
rhetorical.
Hopefully so. The question is, who will give me the answer?
Is this your one line of being a questioning caster?
I don't know.
Was that your
But
one gambit of it?
To see what this... Okay, so Valda's going to clear up behind barrels. But is that good enough for Device to have to move? Well, Device has seemingly moved, but where does he go? See, I can make this work, but he's going to cover off. Down through Monster, they'll go flash out. No smokes on the bomb site yet to go for the fast. That flash was actually so perfect. It catches everyone, but no smokes out. They can't go for the fast plant just yet. They've limited Zipix position, and over the top, Valda catches them. They
had to know that's where Astralis would be pinned toward. There was very few other options when you do those mollies, when you do those flashes through the fire and the flames. You're hoping. What are you doing? What?
That's well timed, but 6 seconds, it's gone. That hit 4 seconds. He may have that. He may just have that. Yeah. That is impressive. I thought round over, but Freeze gets in. They save it alive. Dupree, he's going to get the boost up. He's waiting for Freeze to move, but in this moment, they're going to have to leave this position. And Freeze, all he has to do is bait from here. And we've seen this work. Flipside had this problem in the major. First major, when they actually elected to run Dav Cost instead of Simple, they tried to wrap back around on Mouse Sports, and Goppy stayed alive in that position. Exactly that. Freeze, he gets 1 kill. He forces everyone into the information's been relayed. Glaive just has to hit the shot. That's all Freeze had to do. Stay alive. And it works out perfectly.
Perfectly is a strong word, Matt. Perfectly. I don't know what happened in that round. I just want to watch that Molly back. I want to see how this goes down. Because we're at like 10 seconds now. Molly's burning. I don't know if he expected to have...
It was well timed. He went to it, I think, just as the Molly hit landed, but either way.
Yeah, like, I know he saw maybe that little nice mural on the side, and he was like, do you know what?
It may... like,
I don't know. Yeah, he wanted to be like Olaf, not like Summit, and it didn't, you know, it went the bad way. It went the way you don't want it to go. So now, okay, let's take stock of things. We're going back and forth here, which, as we all know, is really not ideal for a CT side economy. That's going to be pretty much in tatters throughout this. You can see that limited utility coming into play. You're going to see those broken buys. Like we've got, what, a 5-7 and a scout coming out to play at this point. So again, for Team X, they just need to string this together now. Just really start punishing the opposition.
And go back to that round as well. Freeze the identification to pick up the bomb and the timing, and then stay alive. Either way, it's 12-12. That's a huge round, the hero round from Freeze in that sense. Xyp9x, the one with the pistol, is going to be the one to hunt for information as well. He's going to play it so that his teammate can bait off of him. It's going to be Device. And Xyp9x, instead of it, just gets the kill straight up. Freeze comes around, AWP responds, but it's 1 for 1. I would have liked to have seen Xyp9x immediately retreat after finding that first kill. But other ideas indeed. Glave's looking to get revenge. Remember, dupreeh absolutely annihilated him in that position before. It's B that they still want to approach. But it's a decent setup on the B side that Astralis already has. And Kierby, he'll be the one playing on top of the mound. We know they're good at that position, Astralis, but he's the new boy. Is he going to be able to play off Device in the same fashion that Xyp9x typically does in this position? Not only that, Molotov out. Kierby's already gone. Freeze nails him through the wall, and now it's just going to be Kerrigan to hold from a distance as Device. He has to stay alive, and this bomb's going down. Kerrigan can't find the shot on the way through, and they know exactly where Device plays. He's easy to read once they get in the sight.
They've been forcing him to be in that spot every single time. They have all that utility to force him to these spots. And as you said, you know, maybe Kierby could have done something different there to help him out. Be like that Xyp9x roll, but didn't happen. Got mowed down, and Team X take another step in the right direction. This time, even cleaner. Bomb plant support. You've got all of that, all the guns still there as well. If dupreeh can make it out alive, I'll be impressed. Freeze is on the hunt here, and he wants to take that away from him.
They're going to get him as well. Gun goes down. No money left on the Astralis side, and it's been 2 rounds only in this second half for Astralis. Team X with pistol. They've got the momentum, so we've kind of seen this all night. Really one-sided early halves, and then all 3 games we've had, they've made them close. They weren't always comebacks. G2 was unsuccessful in train, but they brought it extremely close and far better than we expected. So Team X have the lead. And this is a case of Astralis is getting read like a book. X know exactly where Device plays. They clear him out. They've wrapped in the site every single time to find him, like you said, in water.
See, this is also one of the big factors that when you're, let's say, not the best team from necessarily a region, right? Let's say you're third or you're the 4th best team. You know, it's all arguable, whatever you want to go for, but you will always say that Astralis is probably the premium tier that you look at. The fact is that when you're Team X, if you ever think about, you know, when you practice, you know, what teams you play against, you know, all of this sort of stuff, you know, you'll often probably play against Astralis. And Device, you're not Xyp9x. I love the ambition. The ambition is absolutely primed. And the moment he hits it, he is absolutely god tier.
If he hits it, man, that is literally Reddit shots.
I believe.
That's
it
one of
always
those ones.
Happens on Overpass.
Oh, okay, this I like. This we haven't seen in a
the
long
3-play boost,
time.
yeah.
Yep. So they're gonna go up. Remember, you have to be in the corner because on a 3-man boost, you have the mechanic where you're sliding off, which does leave the shoulders slightly exposed for Device if they come through the short tunnel. Unfortunately, no one going this way, so they have to kind of identify this. And Team X is playing quite smart, knowing they're against pistols to slow down. But just go back to that shot from Device. That's one of those ones where if he hits it, he might have tried like 6 times, but the one he does, that's the only thing that goes into the highlight clip, and he looks like a god forever.
The irony being, I remember speaking to some other players about that infamous, I think it was a Kukli Kelly shot on Dust 2. I think it was Apex where some of these other teammates were literally just telling him, oh yeah, just go for it, you know. Because he never used to go for the shots, and the one time he did, of course, he hits it and becomes infamous. As you said, it just takes that one time to nail the shot. Always good fun, but yeah, this is actually, do you know how rare it is to see an actual eco map? You know, I quite like them when they happen. Nothing happens with them, but I actually kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, in CSGO, they're more common than they used to be, that's for sure. It's Kerrigan pushing through smoke, aggressive, of course. Freeze just waiting for it with the AWP, and he'll go down. What can they get with pistols? Well, seemingly nothing at all. That's how it ends. Snappy 2 with the MAC-10. They send him on the hunt. 3 total. Big money. 14 for Team X. And now, okay, Astralis. What are you going to do? Get serious, or are you going to just keep going for jump shots?
See, this is where it gets interesting, right? Team X, can you close? I didn't want to even get excited about this game until it got to this point. I didn't want to start thinking, okay, well, Team X can actually do it here. Now they definitely can. They're on 14-12. They have the upper hand. They've got a good amount of money to support them as well. They've got the structure there. Everything around them should help them do this. So there's that early smoke down towards Monster. No surprises. Team X with the same sort of approach they've been doing the entire time. Just that, you know, starting out play. We've seen it a couple of times. It ended up on B. Very rarely actually just doing that default towards A that we saw actually Astralis playing with a hell of a lot on their T side. But again, we'll wait and see if anyone makes a big difference here. dupreeh, Carrigan playing towards toilets. And Kirby just going to be in the float play, almost just right in between, just waiting to see if there's any information gathered. You know, do you hear any steps? Have you seen any presence noted? And well, this is certainly a big signal.
Carrigan needs to line these up. He's played here with EWP, was unsuccessful, fires one shot against that flash. They'll know that means he was hit because it's the preemptive strike. That one was miscommunicated because his teammate completely blinds him up from the back of the site. Either way, it's Kirby and Dupree now that'll play together at Bathrooms instead. As Valda, with the greatest AK skin in the game, clears out the tunnels conservatively and calculatedly. What? Kerrigan jumps up and freezes the pre-aim down, gets the first opening pick. That's huge because now they're forced out of the site because of the aggressive stance they had at Bathroom. So Kirby, he's got to go hunting. Nade out, shot fire, Freeze knows he's there. No response from Snappy because he just has to hold in case they get over aggressive. It's Dupree instead, and he'll lose the duel against Glaive, who gets him down despite taking the first bullet. 28 HP left for him. And Kirby gets one on to back into him, but Snappy's there and was waiting the whole time.
I love that from Snappy, playing that really close to his chest, but back into that in a second. Xyp9x now on the side, trying to do what he can, being that turret, rotating around. He finds one device, finds another, and no one's facing device! He gets away with murder! How? How is he allowed to do that? You do the hard work, Xyp9x, you do the heavy lifting, and then you fall to a guy who's just openly facing you.
That's ridiculous. I love it. He just gets in there late. No one detects him. All the aggro pulled on the Xyp9x. Madi's looking that direction, and Freeze is just trying to get the bomb. Device walks in at the right time. I like it.
All right, well, there's the window of opportunity. It's very, very small, very tiny little window of opportunity given now open to Astralis. Their money is not going to be good throughout most of this. They're still going to be fighting against those odds. But if Xyp9x want to give them these chances, all right, there you go. There's your way back in. Freeze, how did he hit that first shot as well? That must have been absolutely nuts to go for.
Team Glaive, because that's what I'm just going to start calling them now. X representing the variable, which is filled in then by the personality by which we are watching. For those of you doing algebra, X equals Dupree in this case, but he's not on Team X, so never mind. Glaive opened the door with the pre-aim, already covered off. Valda with his crosshair. Trying to catch off that exact position there as Xyp9x will jump up. He won't do that again as he hears the bullets whiz past his face. Not too inviting in that sense. Dupree forward again toward Bathrooms as a support system in play right now. As it's Kirby that's out there with him, and Kerrigan just watching out toward long. This is more the traditional setup. He just gets the information. He can have the corridor to shoot at it, forces him to spend utility. Jump across, okay, Kerrigan, reset the aim. Let's see if he can find it on the second attempt. It's going to be Valda that's with him. And interestingly, he's electing to rotate back over to Truck and allow them that position because he's relying on this 1-2 punch out toward Bathrooms to win. If they go down here, this could be problematic for everyone's position right now on Astralis. And well done for Dupree. Picks up 2, but immediately it's traded out, and Valda gets the AWP in the site.
Kirby at least to get that knife towards Molly, so still being relevant. Time is a huge factor. We're down to 10 seconds here. Freeze again needs to get that bomb planted and fast, goes quickly in towards that truck side, gets the bomb down. Xyp9x can't stop that, and now in the 2v2.
And smart as well to plant in the safest position possible because it's all about time in that sense. Device would have been able to deny the default from the flank position. So now they've got to get in the site. No one's going to move right now on the Team X side. Xyp9x making sure no one's out toward bank until his teammate can get there. Device will clear it with a Molotov as well. As soon as that lands, okay, now Xyp9x knows he's not there 100%. Turns back, finds it, but Freeze the turret. He'll find Device in turn, and it's down to the one-on-one. He wants to bait this out as long as possible, so he's getting away. No, he does not have an angle to prevent the defuse, but he means that Xyp9x has to go hunting, and it's going to be map point for Team X.
This has gone so up and down throughout this game, and the money is completely ruined for Astralis. This is down to absolutely nothing. Team X now on the verge of closing this one down. They have everything they need to play with into this, whether it be the AWP on Freeze, whether it be having that full set of mollies, whatever you want to go for, they've got it right now. And Astralis have to fight tooth and nail for this one. That's so tragic to see here for them after what was a really questionable end to the last season, now coming back into this one. It's not really what we're going to be seeing for them to get this one started, considering Team X are yet to pick up a victory. They've faced, some very respectable opponents already, but they've been having close games, but not winning them. What a first, prize to put on that mantle here, coming through the Pro League. But alrighty, let's see if Astralis can turn that one around. A little bit of a different approach here, of course.
Yep. But they said it was going to be a tough game. The Kirby He was certainly right, as the Astralis have struggled on a map they've claimed to be their own. Kirby tries to get clever. Good, actually does work out. Gets one kill, drops down. He'll stay alive in this situation with the rifle, but it's do or die. And they're pinched in completely as Snappy comes down the stairwell. He's hunting. He's the monster. He's the boogeyman in the closet. And Kirby's found at the bottom of the stairwell. Don't hide in the basement, kids. That's usually where the monsters dwell. As they'll fall away from the site and try and get better position, better read on exactly what Team X is up to. But 4 men stay alive for them versus the 3 of Astralis and only a scout to work with.
All right, Team X. Where are you going to close this one out on? Looks like the B site is where they're going to be heading towards. You've got Snappy in a good spot for it. 3 players heading towards Monster Device. However, I was about to say gets a glimpse. He gets a bullet to the brain. That's what he got. Just perfectly placed by Molly. Now, this should be all she wrote, pretty much. Xyp9x and Carrick, the last 2 alive against 4 players from Team X. You cannot throw these sort of rounds away. Although the tag did come through, and they are looking a little worse for wear. And all right, Xyp9x now, the last man alive. He is going to be poured onto by Team X. And there it is. Team X winning overpass against